What is going on, everybody? It is John Sick here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be going over the next team in my list of team previews before the 2021 draft. Now, these are free agency team previews, so it's based on what your team did in free agency, how they fared, and yeah. So let's get into it. So we're going to start off, and we're going to talk about what you got to do. You got to like the vid. You got to sub to the channel. I got to get more vids out to you guys, so definitely like this vid. Sub to the channel. Check out all the other vids. There's a bunch of vids so far. I did the majority of the NFC North already. I already finished the AFC North, NFC East, and AFC East. So definitely go check those videos out. Those videos, they have 17 game, not 16 game. The first two videos were recorded prior to the 17th game being announced. So just bear with me on that. But yeah, other than that, let's get started. So let's talk about the team that we're going to today. The Detroit Lions. Yeah, it gets a little wonky because you see Jared Goff. But it's the Detroit Lions. We're going to talk about the Lions this offseason and how they disappointed their fans, pretty much. I don't think anybody is in any disagreement about how the Lions are not going to be a good ball club this year. I mean, if you think they are, then I really have nothing to tell you. I got nothing to tell you. So what did they do? First thing they did was they traded away Matthew Stafford for Jared Goff, and they ate Goff's contract. So what this clearly tells me is they're in a clear rebuilding mode. It's clear they're breaking the roster down, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's okay to get a fresh reset. The Lions have been trying to put a Band-Aid on things for a long time, and they were kind of just ruining Stafford's career, ending his career. So, I mean, they took on Goff as a salary dump. They also received 2 first-round picks from that move. Hey, things are getting the future looks brighter. But it's pretty dark right now. Let's put it that way. So let's get into some of the moves they did in free agency. We'll go with the signings first. The signings are important to go first because who you got. We'll go with Jamal Williams. This is probably I don't really understand this signing. You do already have Kerryon Johnson, who's on a light deal, and I know he's not playing well. To go with DeAndre Swift, who clearly is your number one back. He's your guy. DeAndre Swift is that guy in Detroit. Adrian Peterson, I'm certain, is not going to come back. So, yeah, let's just leave it at that. I'm not a big fan of this move. They got Michael Brockers, another kind of salary dump from the Rams. He wouldn't take a pay cut from the Rams, so the Lions said they'll take him and they'll take on his contract, which they did. And yeah, so Michael Brockers, he's always an above-average player. Only above average. He was never a great player. Good run stopper, the occasional sack, but he's not a big pass rush guy. So let's talk about some losses. Marvin Jones Jr., big loss right there. Yeah, this one hurts, especially because of somebody else we're going to get into down the road. But Marvin Jones Jr., although he's not elite, he was on the field almost every week, played week in and week out, always worked his butt off. It's he's gone now. Sad to see him go. I believe he's over in Jacksonville, so he's a new target for Trevor Lawrence. But yeah, Marvin Jones is out of Detroit. Duron Harmon. Duron Harmon, this is a little deceiving because Duron Harmon is not in Detroit anymore, but Duron Harmon has signed with the Falcons. He actually had a decent season for the Lions. I think the Lions were genuinely surprised with what they got out of Harmon, but they weren't going to pay him. They didn't pay him. But Harmon's gone. A DB lost. This is somebody actually they kept. They looked like they might have lost Romeo Okwara, and I believe it's a 3-year contract extension, not 2. This is an old image. But, Okwara has been a good pass rusher for them. He has, and he's shown willingness to stay in Detroit, and they compensated him well, and he will continue to play in Detroit. I mean, I actually like this signing. I think he's an undrafted free agent who, he always had some skill as a Giants fan. I remember him playing for the Giants in Jason Pierre-Paul's absence, and I thought he played well. Was really disappointed that we didn't hold on to him, but the Lions made the right choice here, giving him an extension. They also received Quentin Dunbar. He never did anything to come back up to his level of play for the Seahawks when he went back there last year. When he was a Washington football team member, he was better, a lot better. And he didn't go up to that level of play. He also has some off-the-field issues when it comes to the offseason. But They got him. They got Dunbar, so we'll see. They lost Galladay. This is what I was going to talk about. They lost Galladay in free agent to the Giants. Galladay's been on and off the field. But when you lose your quarterback and both receivers, you're expecting a major setback. I know that you got another quarterback, and he's not very good. It's Jared Goff. I mean, he's not very good. However, it makes sense that it makes sense that they're in a rebuilding mode. They didn't want to pay him. They didn't want to pay Marvin Jones. They're paying Goff, but they're getting 2 first-round picks to pay Goff, so it's okay. And most important loss of the season, Matt Stafford. Not enough could be said about what Matt Stafford has done for the city of Detroit. I mean, from his charity work to his on-the-field greatness, his toughness that mirrored the city of Detroit. I mean, we can never, and none of us can ever forget about the time that he separated his shoulder on a sack, went down the field, and threw the game-winning touchdown. I mean, come on now. Matthew Stafford is quietly for years one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league because he was stuck in Detroit. Sorry, Detroit fans. You already know you're not a popular destination. They tend to kill any great talent they have. He's great talent. Unlike Barry, unlike Calvin, he got out. We'll see what he can do on a stacked Rams team. But yeah, so let's get into the schedule. As you kind of see a little bit of a teaser there, it's going to be their record. I don't know if you saw my last video. I hope you did. If you didn't, go check it out. I have the Chicago Bears going 2-15. 2-15. They are going to be terrible this year, I think. I think they're going to be horrendous. But let's get into it. So obviously, all my game picks are going to mirror each other in all the games. I'm not going to give a team a win here in one video and a loss in another video for clicks. It's not how it's going to work. We're going to be doing this strictly the right way, by the book, so let's continue to do it. I gave them a win at home against the Chicago Bears. You'll see in my Bears video, I also did this. I mean, the Bears are bad, and the Lions are bad, so I'm kind of chalking this up to a 1-1. I wouldn't be surprised, however, if Dan Campbell and this team down the stretch does win some games, because Campbell, I feel, might be an excellent coach. I've got that feeling about him. He's got that mentality that, punch you in the mouth, run you over mentality, which I do enjoy from a head coach. The next thing we got here is a loss to the Packers. They're not beating the Packers. I think we all know. You saw my Packer video. The Packers went 5-1 in the division, and I don't think we should be surprised about that. I'm giving them a game against Minnesota. The Lions usually take 1 from Minnesota. That's kind of what they do. However good or however bad, they'll take a game. I mean, Jared Goff is basically another version of a Kirk Cousins kind of guy, game manager. Kirk Cousins can play at a higher level. He just doesn't. I don't know if Goff is able to play at that higher level. Arizona is going to be a team that steamrolls a lot of teams next year. That's going to be a loss. I don't even think we need to talk about that. Same with the 49ers, and same with the Ravens. Now, Cincinnati is an interesting one, because Cincinnati is rebuilding, and they're kind of getting there, but they have their quarterback. They got some linemen. Not enough yet. I really hope they do not take Jamar Chase. I really, really, really hope that the Cincinnati Bengals take Penei Sewell or Rashawn Slater. They need to protect the franchise, which is Joe Burrow. So that's why this game was a bit of a toss-up. But I did end up giving it to the Bengals. So far they're being swept by the NFC North, or the NFC West and the AFC North, which shouldn't be surprising to you. I gave them a loss against the Eagles. This is another toss-up game. The Eagles are going to be a bad football team this year. They are going to be a bad football team. But I will say, I do like the quarterback situation slightly more in Philadelphia. I know Goff has actually been to a Super Bowl, and he brought his team there one time. I understand that. That defense was great that year, too. It's just, this is a tough one. It's just the Lions are rebuilding so much. They signed like Rashad Perriman at receiver. The Lions, they're showing that they are rebuilding very clearly, even though Philly refuses to accept the fact that they need to. So I think that's what'll win Philly this game. They kept some pieces around which they should have moved on from, considering they need a full rebuild. So that's another loss there. Like I said, they're not touching the Packers. There's no way they'll beat the Packers. I don't think they're beating the Rams either. Don't even get me started on that. and then they're going to lose to the Vikings. Like I said, I'm giving a 1-1 with the Vikings and 1-1 with the Bears. If you watch the Bears video, you'll see I did that. Pittsburgh is not going to be a very good team this year, but they're going to be better than the Lions. So that's a loss. Seattle, again, I have lower expectations for Seattle this year considering the tough division. However, the Lions have even lower expectations. That's another loss. So there were a couple throw-up games on the schedule, and this is one of them I consider a throw-up game, and I gave them the win. I gave them the win against the Broncos in Denver. I have them going to Denver and beating the Broncos. For me, this depends on what point in the season this game is. If this game is week 1 through like 5 or 6, they're not going to win this game. It's later in the year when Dan Campbell has set in, and I believe that Dan Campbell will be a good coach. I hope so. I think they can win this game. I don't like Drew Lock. I don't think he's done good stuff there. He has a lot of weapons. This could all change. By the way, I'm calling the Broncos a bad team right now. But if they go and get a quarterback like Lance, Fields, Mac Jones, because they're not touching Wilson or Lawrence because that's 1 and 2. But if they could, that would be incredible. And they would be better for sitting Drew Lock because Drew Lock is not the answer. Just because Drew Lock lip sank to a song doesn't mean he's the answer. I have them losing the Falcons. I have the Falcons being in a greatly improved ball club this year, but it really depends on what they do it for. If they go skill position like Kyle Pitts, they're going to be a top 2, top 3 offense in the NFL. If they go quarterback, they're showing their cards a little bit for a rebuild, but which is not a bad thing. It's okay. The Chicago Bears lost, like I said, a 1-1, and Browns are a 1-1. So that is kind of what it looks like. The record's 3-14. It's ugly, man. It's ugly. I know it's ugly. You know it's ugly. Cleveland has given you the basement, and now you must reside in the basement. Now you're not going to beat. I mean, I have them legitimately getting swept by the AFC North and the NFC West. Swept. Their only wins are coming 2 division games and that 17th game where they were lucked out by being so bad and playing the Broncos, who are also bad. It's got to be tough being a Lions fan, man. I don't know what it's like, although I know it's been tough for me and the Giants fans of the last few years, but not sure what it's like to be a Lions fan. Gotta stink because the team's always bad, always never reach their expectations, and they let their stars rot. I'm glad they let Stafford go. Stafford deserved to get out. I'm glad he got out. But, if I'm saying something that's surprising to you, then I don't know what to do because if you're a true Lions fan and you watch Lions football, this should not surprise you whatsoever. They're not good. They're not. They're bad. Very bad. Bad team. But that's it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you like the vid, sub to the channel. Check out the other vids I got in the channel. We are going to be finishing up more previews. We're going to finish the North today. Today or tomorrow we're going to finish the North, and then we are going to continue. We're going to try to get all the videos out before the draft on Thursday. So I'm going to try to get you 3 teams per day. We'll see how that goes. But thank you guys for watching. Like the vid, sub to the channel, check out the other vids, and have a good one.